Indeed, love. Did I leave that? Did I leave behind some opinionating or something like that? We don't have a say about our emotions and thoughts. We don't have control over them. I can't imagine behaving that way, right? Then I deal with myself and again,
Book, Your Love Does Matter, you talked about expanding our love footprints. Can you explain what that means and how we begin to recognize our own?
yeah. Well, again, as I mentioned earlier, it's that if we just pay attention to, when you and I hang up this occasion, all right, I can reflect back, go, hey, did I leave an experience of real relatedness, connection, respect, honor, indeed love? Did I leave that? Did I leave behind some opinionating or something like that? And I can pay attention. It's just bringing that to our awareness. Now, we've gotten so used to as human beings resenting. We hardly notice when we resent anymore because it's become so normalized to judge people. It's just become so normal to judge and resent and argue. It's not, if we have an argument with somebody or we walk away judging somebody, it's not like we're shocked, like, oh my gosh, I just judged somebody. No, it's not shocking for us at all. It's become so normal. But there's a difference between what's normal and what's natural. So even though judging, arguing, resenting, opinionating has become normal, I assert it's not natural. If we can move all that to the side, and what's naturally there is our love for people. So for a love footprint, yes, if we just bring to our awareness, what am I in every interaction? What am I going to leave behind when I end this interaction? And pay attention to it, called conscious living consciously. Yes, we can do that. Especially when we get, if I can say one more point, when we get love is a way of being. So it's not an emotion. So I have emotions of love, like I feel love, but those emotions come and go. And sometimes I don't feel love, I feel anger. What's important to get, and sometimes I have thoughts, loving thoughts, like, oh, I love this person. But sometimes I have other thoughts, like, this person's annoying. We don't have a say about our emotions and thoughts. We don't have control over them. They come and they go, and we don't have any say. But there's another domain of our life called who we be as human beings, whether we're tender or cold, whether we're respectful or disrespectful. Those are ways of being. We do have a say about that. That's the one thing we have a say about. So for people to understand, no matter what emotion we're having, no matter what thoughts we're having, we have a say about who we be. And for instance, when we're tired, we can be quiet and withdrawn. When we're tired, we can also be cuddly. When we're tired, we could be playful. So tiredness doesn't determine our way of being. We still have a choice about who we be when we're tired, for instance. When we're angry, could we be argumentative? You bet we could. When we're angry, could we be cold? Sure we can. When we're angry, could we be compassionate? Well, yes, we could. When we're angry, could we be, in fact, tender? Yeah, sometimes we are, especially with children and pets, it seems like, right? So when people get, oh, no matter what emotion I'm having, no matter what thought I'm having, I still have a choice about who I be. That's my one real birthright. I have a say about who I be at all times, under all circumstances. Then no matter what thoughts, emotions I'm having, I choose being loving. And our great leaders in the world that we've all been inspired by, the Nelson Mandelas, the Mahatma Gandhis, the Dr. Kings, wasn't that their brilliant magic? They loved. They refused not to love, no matter what they were dealing with. That's our real power as human beings.
That's true. They refused to be bitter.
Yes, they did, didn't they?
They refused to be resentful despite
Yeah.
all the trials they went through. But they
Yes.
came out better.
Yes, and that's our freedom. People can put us in jail, but they can't make us be bitter. People can put us in jail, but they can't make us hate. That's our freedom. That's our birthright.
And I also believe it has to do with perception.
How so? What do you mean by perception?
The experiences we deal with, the experiences we've had, it either molds us for the better or the other side, the other way. So that's why I said it depends on the individual and their perception of what they've experienced.
Yes, it leaves me with compassion for if somebody I can't imagine behaving that way, right? Then I deal with myself and again get humble because there's a saying, if I was in your shoes, I would do it differently, right? I think the real saying could be, if I was you in your shoes, do I think I would have done it differently? And I don't know. See, if I lived your life, I might live it differently. If I was you living your life and I had the life you had, do I really think I'd live it differently? And so we can get compassion for people end up, given their life experiences, they end up with a certain relationship to life, a certain view of life. And people's behavior always makes sense to their view of life. Always.
Thank you for that succinct explanation. Be safe and be positive. And don't forget to check out our social media handles. Thank you. Bye for now.